Hello and welcome to today's Partner Infopedia web conference. You've joined us for Sphere3D brings industry's first Windows containerization platform and enterprise NAS to Microsoft Azure. Kicking us off from Sphere3D today, we have Nilesh Patel, who is the VP of Marketing. Nilesh, you now have the floor.
Great. Thank you, Debbie. Good morning, everybody in the U.S. Good afternoon for folks dialing from Europe. Great to have you guys all on this webinar. And it's interesting to see a broad spectrum of attendees from the job function and so on. And to make sure that we are serving you guys well, we have brought in the right set of speakers as well. In terms of agenda, over the next 50-odd minutes, we'll cover just a quick overview of the company, then really go deeper into technology overview and demonstrate the technology as well. Along with me, I have a great team of colleagues joining us, and I'll introduce them now. Peter Tassiopoulos, who's the founder and president of the company. John Morale, the inventor of the Glassware 2.0, founder and VP of R&D. Marion Dan, who's the founder and CIO. And those three gentlemen will join us midway through the presentation when we go through the deep dive on Glassware 2.0 platform. Simon Bremfit, a past practitioner and a chief technologist for us, is with us as well, and he and I will be covering the content along the way as we go through it. So without further delay, let me get started. And although we will be covering a lot of content and we'll be able to talk about several innovations that are coming together under Sphere3D solution umbrella, I think some of the key takeaways that I hope you get out of this presentation. Number one, we deliver application and data at unmatched scale and simplicity, which we believe are the core requirements for the next cloud. The Glassware 2.0 containerization technology can virtualize and mobilize apps that others can't, and at a fraction of the cost of alternatives. And Sphere3D's solutions deliver some game-changing TCO across our application and data delivery capabilities that will accelerate IT modernization efforts for enterprise IT, whether you are a small company or a large enterprise or an ISV. So without further delay, let me get going. Before I go into technical discussion, it will be useful for us to quickly share with you who we are and what we do. We are based out of San Jose and Toronto as a worldwide presence as a company. We provide the technology to move your apps, data, and workflows to the cloud so that you can use them anywhere on any device at any time. And we do that for customers of all sizes, from the small and medium businesses to large enterprises. And our vision is really to power the next cloud, simply stated. Any cloud, any platform, any application, any data on any device. And through the presentation and through the demonstration, you'll be able to see how we do that. As a company, through our acquisition and mergers, we are a global entity at this point. We partner with over 20,000 worldwide reseller partner and service partners into 90 different countries. And we serve over 100,000 customers with a portfolio of solutions that cover from application containerization, workspace virtualization, and enterprise data storage products. We are backed with a seasoned team of executives. So we have folks with startup experience as well as executives that have ran multi-billion-dollar businesses. So we feel we are well positioned to take on the vision of powering the next cloud. And I can't go without mentioning the great support of our friends, industry co-travelers, named particularly Microsoft, who is hosting us today, and thank you very much for that, as well as some of the other players in the industry who are partnering with us on a technology front, on solution front, in delivering the solutions we bring to market effectively. Talking about Microsoft, again, a great partnership, and it's tremendous support we are getting from top to bottom across various functions, sales organization, technical team, and other sponsorship we are getting. So fantastic support. Here's just a capture of the timeline. Less than 12 months ago, we signed an OEM embedded agreement contract with Microsoft, which basically powers some of our app containerization technology platform. And we committed to not only delivering those products on on-premise app containerization and virtualization market, but also committed that we'll bring this technology to the cloud, and particularly Microsoft Azure cloud. Today, we bring that to you all, but along the way, we have several engagements and further deepening of our relationship on the technology front as well as sales and marketing front. Part of that effort came 3 months ago. First product we rolled out, our enterprise NAS storage product, Snap Cloud. It's available on Marketplace today, Microsoft Azure Marketplace. And now 3 months later, today, we are talking about our application containerization platform coming to Microsoft Azure Cloud. So great progress, fantastic partnership, and we're really excited about it. Now, our vision is very simple, as I said, powering the next cloud. And it boils down to freedom to choice. The businesses in the next cloud want to run business without any limitations or any compromise, any app, data, device, or location bounds. And that's what we are enabling. And you will see that, how we do that. Now, the word any is being used by a lot of people, but we believe, and this is further validated from our engagement with end users, industry analysts, and others, in terms of the challenges for the next cloud are not very well solved by traditional approaches. There is a fundamental difficulty of scale when you're trying to deliver applications and data to millions of customers across various delivery methods into the mobile devices. We feel that the scale of infrastructure is something that is not possible by traditional approaches. There are software incompatibilities in terms of different solutions and so on. Limited mobility of apps and data, big challenge to be able to deliver application across all types of device types, whether it's iPad or Windows machines or Android machines, and being able to do with the quality and the performance is a big challenge. And then even if you find a way to patch together solutions, managing all of them with a single central management is a big challenge. At Sphere3D, we address those very effectively, and you will see that our solutions can be scaled from tens of users to millions of users on demand. The solutions and app and workload can be moved around with the mobility that are inherent to our products. And all our on-premise solutions as well as the cloud solutions are managed with a central management orchestrator. And that should address some of these critical pain points that we see today's our next cloud technology is facing. Without me telling more about it, a practitioner among us and our chief technologist, I will invite Simon to introduce our platform technology and take us further. Simon?
Thanks, Dinesh. So I've spent quite a few years exploring the boundaries of enterprise application delivery systems, going right back to the start, batch files and login scripts, before later moving on to tools like System Center. But for the most part, I've been focusing on application delivery using Windows RDS-based technologies. This is stuff that I view as being particularly well suited to enterprise application delivery. In the last few years, though, I've seen the push to mobile-first, cloud-first application strategies, and this is starting to change my perception of RDS systems. Watching the drive to mobile and cloud adoption, it's become increasingly clear to me that while most businesses are well served with products and technologies to enable this transition, for many potential customers, the available choices for mobilizing Windows applications fall short. Many small businesses are effectively excluded from RDS, not because of the cost, which is for the most part quite affordable, but because of the inherent complexity of RDS platforms. This puts it out of reach of small businesses who might otherwise be able to take their existing Windows applications, move them out onto the road, and access them from smartphones and tablets. At the opposite end of the scale, we have ISVs looking to maximize their investment in their existing application portfolio, represent them packaged as software as a service, And they find that the application hosting platforms that are available to them today do not scale to deliver not just the few tens of thousands of sessions, but the many hundreds of thousands of sessions that they need, and they need to deliver anywhere across the world. At the same time, while $20 per month may be acceptable for an enterprise looking to host its Windows apps in the cloud, it's close to an order of magnitude more than the point at which an ISV can find it economic to do so. It was only when I was introduced to Sphere3D last year that I first thought it might be possible to address both the upper and lower bounds of the application delivery market, and to do that through a single platform. Now, having only started at Sphere3D a couple of months ago, I can't take any credit for today's announcements or demonstration. Sphere3D's founders, Marian, Dan, and John Morelli, and their team have spent several years working on the Glassware platform that lie behind the Sphere3D Exosphere and the G-series of physical and virtual appliances. Combining a unique containerization technology on a headless Windows Server implementation, we have created a core platform that can address application compatibility challenges so diverse that while still supporting past and present 32 and 64-bit applications, it can also run legacy 16-bit Windows applications. Then implementing that over a network layer that borrows much from John's background in the mobile telephony industry, we're providing an application-level quality of service designed to give the best available application experience that the network will support, creating what is in effect a worldwide application network. And if that wasn't enough, Marian and John have extended the notion of delivering legacy applications from the cloud beyond Windows out to mid-range Unix and Linux systems, and even to legacy mainframe systems, before ultimately condensing the technology into a turnkey appliance offered either as a virtual appliance in Azure or as a physical appliance for installation in the data center or branch office closet. Now, software vendors like Sphere3D, we're often a little too enthusiastic in our use of the word any. We claim that our respective solutions can deliver any app to any device, across any network, to any location, from any cloud. And as an industry analyst, I've learned to take all such claims with more than a pinch of salt. However, for the first time, I think that with Sphere3D, Exosphere, and the G-series appliances, we have more than a reasonable chance of being able to live up to that claim. But really, you shouldn't be taking my word for this. More important than anything I can say, I'd like to hand you over to John Morelli and Peter Tasiopoulos, who are going to demonstrate some of the unique features that are available in Exosphere today.
Great. All right, Peter. So folks, as we mentioned, our partnership with Microsoft has yielded us a couple of offerings on Microsoft Azure Cloud. 3 months ago, we rolled out Snap Cloud, which is an on-demand enterprise NAS storage platform. It's a full-featured enterprise NAS product that's now available on Microsoft Azure Marketplace. It has all the simplicity of cloud as well as the simplicity of the product itself. It is built on the same platform that has been delivered in the industry for over 10 years now and through over 300,000 different enterprise deployments. So the software operating system that powers Snap Cloud is the same operating system that's been tested and deployed in the enterprise for many, many years. It has built-in, in addition to the NAS functionality, which is traditional NFS, SIFs, and iSCSI protocols, it also has ability to sync and share data to any device anywhere in the world in an encrypted fashion. And we'll show some quick demonstration of that through a video as well. And then the product comes built in with integrated backup functionality, and makes a part of the entire Snap family. So you have, from a hybrid cloud perspective, you could deploy physical appliances, Snap Server, Snap Scale, which are powered by same software, but also connected with Snap Cloud images and manage the entire storage set of instances in a single pane of glass and have replication policies managed from one to the other. So you are now able to deliver a complete hybrid cloud solution that is managed centrally and having the same operational workflow for data backup and other functionalities that are shared between all of these products. We feel that from an end user perspective, a customer who's trying to respond to their storage demand and then IT resources demanded, whether the content is growing or they're bringing in new users or their companies are going through M&A and they have instant needs to grow data, we believe that the Snap Cloud on Microsoft Azure Cloud is a fantastic choice to be able to turn on a dime and have multiple terabytes of capacity available at a high performance level. And I'll talk about some of them, some of the aspects later on in the demo in terms of the performance capabilities of Azure infrastructure is very well suited for the primary storage use case that Snap Cloud shines at. In addition to that, I think being able to share content at a high performance speed between different devices in a secured fashion is a big problem. Lots and lots of content are being dumped into public cloud for sharing, and it's a big risk both from a compliance perspective as well as a company secret perspective. So having ability to build your own personal cloud is very important, and having a secure cloud even critical for many businesses. You can do that with Snap Cloud. And then, as I mentioned, central management is a key requirement if you're building a cloud-ready infrastructure, IT infrastructure, and Snap Cloud will be able to do that easily. So let me just, instead of talking about it, let me just show you what it is and how it gets done. And I'll do it in two different ways. One is I'm going to show you how easy it is to go ahead and configure a particular Snap Cloud instance on Microsoft Azure. And then instead of in the interest of time, instead of walking through each one of the features, we have actually captured those features in a video stream, and we'll walk you through that so that you have a understanding of how the product works and so on. So let me see if I can fire off and share my desktop here. And I'll go to, so hopefully folks, you can see my screen. I'm on the portal, Microsoft Azure portal. I'll log in as with my account. And this is a requirement, obviously. Everybody who uses Microsoft Azure, you need to have your own account and subscription. Once you have it in place, you get logged into your Microsoft Azure cloud account, and then with the lots of choices you have of different compute resources, storage resources on that, you browse, you go to Marketplace, which is a simple way to get to it. Go to Marketplace. In the choices you have, just put in Snap Cloud. It pops up a Snap Cloud image, and you'll see two images show up. One is the staged version, which you should not pick because that's an internal staging. It still shows up because it is available on Marketplace. You pick the first one, which is a Snap Cloud. Read through the description, tells you what the product does and so on, and then press the Create button. And then at this point, we're going to try to take all the standard configuration and that we have given now. At this point, you give the name to your cloud storage. So we'll just call it Snap Cloud Demo, for example. And then it is very important to assign a specific username, obviously, which will be the account name for that image. So now you, as an owner of the storage instance that you're going to create, you become the owner of the storage, and you have full admin control over it once you create your name and password. There's some restriction on password you need and cap and all that, which if you're using Azure, you should know some of those limitations or restrictions. You can select a group. Let's just call it SnapCloud RG. What happened here? Okay. At this point, now you are able to select the types of storage you want to pick. So now you are at the point where you have a choice of selecting what type of storage you want, what is the size of the storage, and on Microsoft Azure, you have different VM types, as you know, A1, A2, and there are associated disks that are associated with those each VM types. So both capacity and performance are mapped. That's one of the unique capabilities from Microsoft Azure infrastructure, where for the compute-oriented workloads and so on, if you have a storage that does not have enough IOPS, you don't get the right performance level. You don't have that problem with Microsoft Azure, because with each virtual disk you add, you get 500 IOPS from those disks, and that gives you enough performance. So just for an example, we'll just pick A2 here, which will give me 4 times 4 disks. That's about 2 terabyte capacity, and it will allow me to then, I'll just pick standard setting just for the demonstration purpose here, and there you go. And at this point, it's ready to create the virtual image. So instead of creating the image right on live here, because it's going to take 3 to 5 minutes for it to get provisioned on the Azure infrastructure, I'm going to switch over and take you to the video. So what happens is, remember I created SnapCloud demo as an instance. So you have now your ability to log into your storage instance VM. In this case, you can have snapcloud-demo.cloud.net. You log into that, and at that point, you are now able to get into the SnapCloud instance. You do the basic setup in terms of time and all that system configuration, and get the ball rolling. You don't require to set up, unbox, put it in the rack, and all that. You are just creating enterprise class storage on the fly here. You have to decide what kind of storage you want to put underneath that. So you go back into your you can go back into your Azure subscription, and behind that image you add amount of disk you want. If you just picked 1 terabyte, you can set them in increment of 1 gigabyte. And this is again the beauty about cloud storage, and onto Azure here, we can grow in increments of gigabyte rather than buying tons and tons of terabytes at a chunk. So once you have selected that, the capacity will be added on, and then you go back into your VM image, go ahead and accept that. So once you accept those disks, they become available, and then now you are able to create a storage pool of 1 terabyte of capacity. So as you can see here, now you have 1 terabyte of capacity that you can go use for your storage needs. Now I'm going to run through some of the features that are part of this product that make it a compelling solution. Once you have the pool ready, now you are ready to use it and map it. Now this is an enterprise class NAS storage, so you can easily go in and integrate tightly with your Windows Explorer. So just like you're mapping any other shared storage, you map this into your Windows Explorer, and now you have a large amount of unlimited storage that you can scale to on your fingertip. We are showing a step where you actually go in and log in to your storage instance and make that drive available. Once you have done that, the next thing we'll show you quickly is how easy it is to set up a sync and share function. In this case, we'll show you that we are setting up a sync and share function between the local device, which is what this particular demonstration was done on using a laptop, and the SnapCloud image that is in Azure Cloud. So just follow, hopefully you can follow along. So we're going to select and move the content. You can easily move content back and forth between the cloud storage and the PC. And now you are going to go into our sync functionality. So now what we just did is through our sync functionality that is part of our software already built in, we are deciding to share the content and the folder with another device. And so through that, you create an encryption key that you can email it and send it to, or go ahead and add it into the device or where you want to share the content with. And at this point, it requires that the administrator who is sharing the content approves. So there is a pending approval that plays out, which we just saw play out here. And once the approval is in here, now you are really synced up with the other device. So that's how easy and quick it is to sync and share. Doesn't matter whether you have a Windows device or an iPad or an Android device. There are client software available to download. So once you have client software on your endpoint devices, you are able to use that as part of your sync and share functionality. Now what you're seeing here is a central management capability that is again built into our software. These are the number of devices and appliances and storage systems that are in our network. And as you can see, there are a bunch of Snap servers, Snap Scales, and Snap Cloud as well. And so here we're going to go find where Snap Cloud is. 57 Snap servers, 20 Snap Scale, and several other instances present in our network. Snap Cloud demo, as you can see, we were able to manage that here. And the other thing we do is this gives you an opportunity to identify and find the instances that are existing in your environment. But each one of those instances will have their own login credentials. So just because an admin can see everything, you don't lose control over managing your own storage instances. And that's the level of security, enterprise class security level we put in there. So it's a quick rundown here in terms of functionality of the product. In summary, on-demand scale of an enterprise class product, storage product is available now at your fingertip. So you can grow as your needs grow. You can share your content across all your users in a secured fashion, doesn't matter where they are, and then you can manage everything centrally across all your instances with a central management layer. And that's what you can do with Snap Cloud. So at this point, let me come back to the presentation again here.
Perfect job,
so that
Nilesh.
was Snap Cloud. So Debbie, I think let's see if we can try Toronto to walk through the application containerization demonstration.
Great. All right, guys, we're back. So we'll go back to, so as we were saying, on the right side of the screen, we've got access as a user. On the left side of the screen, we've got access as admin. We're just going to quickly launch what's called App Launcher. So what this is a virtual workspace. You have the ability, as you can see on the screen, either deliver these applications as standalone applications. You can also deliver a virtual workspace that has a series of applications within it. And I'm not sure what the latency is from a standpoint of the actual Skype and so on, but I can tell you this thing moves blazingly fast. The launch time to launch these applications is in milliseconds. So we're going to launch a couple of them and just put them up. And basically what we want to do is demonstrate the ability to continue to work in your environment while your admin decides to go and push a new application to you. So I'm going to go over to the admin side of the panel now, and I'm going to show you how really easy it is to install an application. Now you'll see I've got two different ways to do it. On the top side, I've got what's called an application catalog, and on the bottom I have a file install. If you were to work from an application catalog, you literally have the ability to take any of the previously installed containerized applications within your inventory in your catalog and actually pick the version of those to go with it, because you can have multiple versions. You may want to roll back based on certain patches that you didn't like the performance on or don't agree with some of your security settings. And then you can actually auto-enable after installation for these applications. And you'll see when you pick them from your inventory, estimated install time after download could be as little as, well, this one's 5 seconds, right? Now, I'm not going to use the catalog to do it because that takes some of the fun out of it. I'm going to install an application through the other means, which is to actually take it from a location. This could be sitting on your local USB. You can have this sitting in some local or some storage, centralized storage, wherever the application is. So we're going to go in and we're going to pick something that just does this quickly. For the sake of time, we were going to do a different app, but I'm going to go back to good old trusty Thunderbird because it can be done very, very quick. So we're going to open up a session that will actually allow us, and they'll do a quick virus check, and we can see it's not infected. So we're going to launch the install session, and when we do, a screen should pop up. We've got a Java applet that opens, and we're loading, and here you go. We're extracting the application. Now you'll notice there's no desktop within this environment. We do not run a desktop. We don't hide a desktop. We don't run a desktop OS, and from a security perspective, we don't run Explorer.exe, so we've got a much smaller surface to be attacked. And as you can see, I'm using the actual native installer to install this. So I'm going to quickly do the install. And when it comes through, it'll just go next, next, next. So we finish. I'm not going to launch it now. I'm going to finish this, and I'm done. This has now been put into a container. This little left thing, click here, installation is complete. We put that button there because we have no desktop. We have no way to close the session, so we have to actually find a way to close that session. And what you can see here is all the different executables that are there. And the reason these are there is, let's say you wanted to do something like Microsoft Office, you'd actually be able to choose whether you want Excel, PowerPoint, et cetera, or just one of the above. So I picked Thunderbird's executable. When I did, it generated the icon. I'm done. I'm going to add it, and I'm finished. If I look at now the applications that are installed, I'm going to go over, it's on the second page, and I see Thunderbird. It's not enabled yet. So I'm going to enable this so that my user who's sitting on the right side can get web access to it. And I'm going to change that right now. And then save my settings. And you'll notice on the other side, on the right side, the second I hit save, within literally a fraction of a second, Thunderbird showed up in the user's workspace available to him, and he's ready to go. And that is literally the amount of effort it takes to do a traditional application that's Windows-based that has an installer built into it. Now, I know, outside of the scale and some of the other benefits, which we'll talk about in a minute, you're probably wondering, saying, okay, but, x86. So let's go take a look at a few things that are different, non-x86, or somewhat more problematic when it comes to the virtual world. And so what we have in our hands is we have an iPad that we are going to mirror onto the screen. I'll take a second. And I drag it over, and it should pop up, and bingo. So I've now mirrored my iPad. And I've got a number of different things here that we can work with to give you an idea of some of the things that we do. Let's start off with, for some of your folks that maybe have been at Microsoft for a while, maybe let's start off with Windows 3.1 and Microsoft Word 2.0. Now we're using this over the network, and we're now sitting within the environment. And you'll see, using an iPad for Windows, Microsoft Word 2.0. And one of the things that's kind of unique is I'm going to use Siri and see if I can do a little voice dictation into a document that obviously doesn't support it. So let's see. Glad we're screen sharing. I guess my voice is a little bit broken up, but I'm glad we're screen sharing. So as you can see, we have the ability to integrate the current technology from the iPad into the session itself to give a user the ability to actually benefit from the endpoint device's capabilities. You'll see within the actual soft keyboard, escape, tab, control, delete, they're all there. We've added a soft mouse so you can actually use this product as if you're sitting at a workstation. So I'm going to exit from that. Wipe that clean. And now, let's go into a Solaris environment. And again, as we know, Solaris is not the easiest thing to actually bring up in a virtual environment. And you'll notice that I'm connected over the network. And I'm firing up Solaris, putting in my password, and welcome to my Solaris environment. Now you'll notice in the back corner of the screen, the top right side, I'm measuring my CPU. I've got access to NVIDIA GPU cards in real time. So this is a real Solaris environment with access to any of the underlying hardware that would be required. We're not using virtual GPU. We're not using the traditional way of actually getting access to hardware. You have the ability to deploy Glassware to either see the underlying GPU within your data center or use a product that we call VIX, VIX, to be able to get access to hardware in a colo that may be required for you to actually run this on a distributed environment. Now I'm going to switch from my iPad over to a Chromebook next and try another application which I think you guys may find surprising. You can virtualize. So here's my Chromebook. And I'll log in with Glassware Connect. Launch my app launcher. And just so you know, these clients, we have clients that are currently available in the app stores now. So we have an app store version for iOS, Android, and Chromebook. As well, you can gain access using a traditional browser or an HTML5 browser with full functionality and compatibility regardless of which client that you use. One of the things that we've actually done for Chromebooks, for those of you that are in the education space, this is TestNav. So this is, Glassware is certified to deliver TestNav testing within the education. Interesting, you'll notice it asked me for Java. For those of you guys who are paying close attention, we're on a Chromebook, so as you know, it's not a local session because Java doesn't run on them. We're loading up our TestNav environment, and this is as simple as it is for us to actually deliver TestNav testing. And you'll notice it requires some screen resolution. Done. We're in the reference site. We're actually connected to a server running a virtual session of TestNav, which is connected to a database server running over at Pearson for the actual content within the application. And lastly, just for fun, I'm going to pull back up an iPad. You'll notice on your screen what you're looking at is a Cisco softphone. Fully functional. It's a desktop client, but it's actually able to be integrated and delivered into non-desktop. And I'm hoping you guys can hear, that's the dial tone that comes in.
Call cannot be completed as dialed. Please consult your directory and call again, or ask your operator for assistance.
So that's a fully functioning Cisco IP phone desktop client running off of an iPad that can connect into your existing Cisco architecture. So there's very little that we've ever come across that we cannot actually deliver on any device, and hence the reason, to Simon's point earlier, we're pretty confident when we say we can deliver any application on any device. Now I want to talk a little bit here about scale, just so we understand what kind of scale we can achieve. And so I'm going to ask Marion here to grab a seat in the driver's chair, and we're going to go and pull over a couple of instances. I'm going to start with the actual Glassware dashboard. So here's a Glassware dashboard. We are into Azure, as you can see from the address up top in the address bar. We're running 511 active users within this virtual machine in Azure. We're using about 50% of our RAM or so But this is the interesting part, is we're going to now log in. We've also got the login, and if you look up top, we're in Glassware 2610. And I'm going to bring the screen over, and we're sitting now looking at the Azure tools for looking at the VMs. Again, we're in Glassware 2610. If you look at the CPU usage here, about 23%. We've used about 28 gigs of memory. And if I click on the users, what you guys will see is a list, and we'll scroll down of 512, because we've got another one that's up, active users inside of, and this is a A7 virtual machine in Azure, which, as for you folks on the phone all know, is not rated for 500 plus users, and we're not actually at capacity. But now I'm going to bring over and log in as a user into the same machine as well. So let's log into 2610. And launch something. Your choice, Marianne. Thank you, sir. Word. And the new screen's popping up. I wonder how many of these screens we can pop up at once. And now I'm logged in as a user using Microsoft Word. And I don't know where you guys are in latency, but we don't seem to have much of it. And this is now the 512th user. And I'll go back over to the dashboard, Marion, if you don't mind. Close that session off. And again, we'll look at the resource monitor. You saw the little spike when we first walked in. You saw the bandwidth spike, and right back as we logged off. And this is your dashboard. And again, this is an A7 virtual machine running 500 plus users of an application. And the stress test is performed, just so you know, using traditional word processing. In the VDI world, you know, I would put this somewhere around your sorry? Medium. There'll be a medium workload. So most of these guys are typing in random text to do it. Obviously, you won't get 500 users for a GPU-intense application out of an A7 machine, but when you're dealing with things like Microsoft Word and others, this would be, you know, relatively routine and really won't push the system with any great degree of difficulty. So with that, again, for the interest of time, because we had a couple technical glitches, I'm going to end the demo, although we will be performing additional demos. Will be some invites coming out. We're going to be doing some live customer installs as well through our podcast, and please look to our website for that and give you an opportunity to actually watch us go. We'll go on site and literally show you that you can deploy Glassware on site, or you can deploy it within Azure and configure it in less than 30 to 45 minutes at most, which I think is quite unique from ability to actually deliver this. Lastly, I want to finish off and go back to this slide here for a moment, and let's go present the slide.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. So I think, Peter, just pick the either presentation slide or just go in at the bottom of this from there.
Okay, well, I'm just going to go.
And it's backwards. Up, we're good.
So I just want to talk about, you know, some of the use cases and what we've done already. So Exosphere, as it's called, internally it was called Rally at the time. You know, we were brought, an ISP brought us an application, WordPerfect, looking to do a trial. It gave us about 10 days or so to deliver the environment. Just to put this in perspective, within 10 days we put up an environment that was spread out between Azure and some of the actual VIX servers were in colos at Rackspace, that delivered over 14,000 or 13,000 users. In the last 65 days or so, we processed about a terabyte a day of data, 270 million queries per day, or an average of 50 a second. We did 50 plus million database connections, or 32,000 an hour. We had zero downtime while delivering this. We had very little infrastructure that was required to do it. As well as that, we didn't have to touch their code, although we did give them a unique and new user interface for the iPad which was able to be delivered through Glassware Connect. So we do have the ability to change the real estate through our clients. So if you've got specific shortcuts for one of your clients, or one of your partners, we've done the same for PAC systems, etc., that are not supported by the local devices keyboards. You can actually put your own keyboard over top, and you can actually create your own shortcuts for it as well.
Peter, so we have a 4-minute check. Let's go through a couple of next slides, and before we can end at time.
Yep. So just quickly, guys, there's 2 versions of Glassware within the cloud. Generally available right now is Exosphere. This can run from hundreds of thousands of users. You come to us for solution delivery engagement, and really that is just to get an understanding and help you with the architecture. There's a new product in terms of architecture. It's probably unique from anything you've seen before, so we'll give you some assistance. After we've architected 1 or 2 for you, you can do it yourself. You won't need us at that point. We have a virtual appliance, which is a standalone, simple image. You just put it up and put your applications in it. That won't require our support. That should be ready to go in November for GA. There'll be a technical preview prior to that. We'll let you guys know about that. And of course, this all clusters, so there is a hybrid capability. The G Series product is available as well, which is the appliance version. And of course, we also have, as I mentioned, within all of the app stores, a downloadable client where you can use your browsers. And lastly, I just wanted to touch on this one, and we want to talk about application modernization. So just to give some highlights, the initial cost for actually porting a workspace to the cloud will be reduced by close to 50%. Application delivery, 80%, and your desktop support by 90%. When we talk about what this is possible, we're talking about less than a penny per hour per user, right? So we're talking about numbers that are quite a surprise compared to, say, 83 cents per hour for AWS. For those of you guys out there looking for something to match up against Amazon, this is your ticket right here. And then the overall deployment for TCO is down 70% when you go hybrid. Again, this is a hyper-converged appliance that you can drop on site, or Exosphere, you can actually deploy it in multiple stages or through a hyper-convergence as well.
Great.
And with that, I'll leave it at that, Nilesh, and I'll hand it back to you.
Okay, thanks, Peter. Well done. So you guys, just keeping up with the last couple of minutes here, I'm just going to move straight towards the end and leave you with a couple of thoughts. So I think it's important, again, just want to make sure from a takeaway perspective, hopefully you guys can feel that this is the kind of scale and simplicity as well as ability to virtualize that others can't. We can do that. And with the kind of cost numbers and scale that you saw, the TCO value proposition is just phenomenal. In order for you to learn more about the product and so on, the content is available on our website. If you're interested in a deeper dive on SnapCloud, we have a webinar coming up on October 21st. Please join us for that. Peter mentioned we have a Glassware 2.0 series of webinars coming, including a live install, so you all actually can see in action how this product gets deployed and served. If you're a reseller, make sure you are a Microsoft Azure partner. For any questions, now there are a lot of questions came in through the chat session. We have answered some of them as much as we can along the way. We will make sure, and we'll work with Debbie to make sure that those people who asked questions we could not answer, we will do so definitely and follow up. Dan Kamada, VP of BizDev, is also a contact for you guys, so if there's any question, you can reach out to him or info@sphere3d.com. We're at the top of the hour. I really appreciate everybody's time, and sorry about the glitch on the present technical glitch on the conference side, but appreciate everybody's time this morning, and looking forward to hearing from all of you guys back. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks,
Debbie?
Nilesh. Excellent. So, folks, I'd like to call your attention to the survey link here in the chat window. Again, apologies for the brief technical issues we had today. We do hope that you take a moment to fill this out prior to logging out. After you enter your email address, our voting scale is on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the best. So again, if you've got some great information today, or if you have some recommendations for future events, we'd love to hear from you. Be sure to click on the submit button at the bottom to ensure that your feedback has been received. And also, if your question wasn't answered during today's live event, again, you can contact Sphere3D at their email address info@sphere3d.com. And with that, that does conclude today's Partner Infopedia web conference. Again, all materials will be available on worldwide events within 48 hours. I'd like to extend a big thank you to our presenter team from Sphere3D, and thank you, audience, for logging in and joining us today.